I think there's a good range of good roasts, meaning from the point where it's not raw anymore, which is very light. It's like there's no raw spot anymore, finish. I like that kind of roast. Brazil doesn't, but I do. And to the point where you don't start actually carbonizing so much. I mean, I never go to the second crack, for example. We don't have any profile that goes up there. I don't like it. I think when we get to the second crack, we already lost too much and built too much of things that I don't want to taste. Like that last coffee, all of them, they were a little weird. And that's one of the things. But I try to, I always, in the coffee lab, we have some roasty coffees, because I don't mind them. I think we can actually develop profiles that are competent roasty coffees. Yeah, you still can get body, you still can get a little acidity, because I prefer people to get my coffee than go to the supermarket if you want roasty coffees. And it's a way of changing a little bit their mind to our lighter side of the forest. So I prefer to, of course I would prefer only to roast light coffees. But I do these roasty things when I don't think it's too damaged, for our standard, of course. And there's okay, I'm gonna tell you one thing that I do, that I was not supposed to, being a roaster. Yeah. A good way of having acidity lowered in a way that you don't bitter the coffee, you don't get it too bitter, it's baking, right? That's a good way. So, I don't like bitterness at all. That's one thing that it bothers me. So, I do some baked profiles for this Brazilian, the people who like a little bit. And for one kind of super automatic machines, the super automatic Yuras or whatever's, since they under extract the espresso, right? It's always an under extracted thing, right? Those super automatic machines, the homey ones or the office ones. So what I do is I bake a little bit the coffee so I can go a little further without getting the coffee too dark, too bitter and too dark. And then they work well in these super automatic machines, actually. Because since they under extract, you're safe. That's a kind of strategy. So I don't get that hurt with bitterness, and I still have the coffees with lower acidity for the people who are drinking Malbecs from Argentina. Yeah. Okay, anything else now?
Isabella, what? Oh. When you find these great coffees in Espírito Santo, what is your one single most important advice on roasting to get the Brazilian coffees to be like floral and interesting?
When I get these coffees, I roast them mostly between 9 and 55 seconds, 9 minutes and 55 seconds to 10, 20 at the most, I guess. So it's a pretty fast roast with a higher airflow, because they're very sweet usually. So I don't mind having, I don't need to worry about being brown or sweet with them. So it's more convective and fast. Yeah, and a little higher charge temperature, because I have the air thing going, so that's what I do. And that's what I'm not afraid of doing this. It's maybe, I don't know, how do you guys roast your Africans, for example, generally speaking?
Well, a bit of higher temperature in the beginning, faster build up, and getting the acidity to work for me. call the development phase is for me from when the coffee turns, the temperature turns, it goes up, because that's where I build up the acidity in the coffee. I do that pretty fast. And yeah, low level in those coffees, and short roasts, like then 9, almost 10 minutes.
Oh, there's one thing. There's one thing that got me thinking about after when I got the roaster was cooking, of course. I love cooking. The sugar, the sucrose, it start breaking at 150 degrees, right? The molecule. And how do you do a good caramel sauce? I mean, you have sugar and water, right? Water protects the molecules from carbonizing too much. That's what we do in the kitchen. So that think of that when you were thinking about developing sweetness without breaking too much, losing too much, carbonizing sugar too much. Because the carbonization of sugar leads you to a bitterness that's very awkward. So that's one thing that got me thinking about how can I get more sweetness, and then conduction or convection or any. So that's one way that I thought. It's how can I keep the water a little bit available. Of course, we're going to lose the water, some of the water. I lose my mass production. I mean, my mass loss is around 13% usually. So, well, so I think I mainly, these coffees from these more complex coffees in Brazil, I think I probably roast the way some of you roast Central Americans or Africans, I don't know. I have that impression from those whom I talked already with. And I'm not afraid. It's just been disciplined enough to test and see what range your roaster in Brazilian coffee likes. And sourcing. What else?
So isn't it also, are Brazilian coffees less dense than Central American coffees, but you roast them the same way?
Yes, I do, and Team Edible and also the guys from Coffee Collective, and some of you have been to Coffee Lab and have tasted those Espírito Santos that I have there, and they're actually really amazing. You get to, oh my God, this is not Brazilian. This is what I get from gringos. Yeah, from foreigners that go there. Or that's why the coffee was maybe picked up out of a lot of Kenyans and Central Americas this year in SCA. It was one of the only one picked. It was a blind tasting, so it really tastes different. And I roast the same way. So maybe, since I didn't have that high-density coffee background, I never thought of that, actually. Of course, that coffee is a little denser than Cerrado. Not a little, it's a lot. It's denser. I know that. We can measure that. It's not as dense as some others, but it's a little denser than other Brazilians. So we do have this difference in density in Brazil. Okay, so whoever wants me to, I can send you samples of these green coffees from Espírito Santo if you do want, just to get to know them. I can send you, just send me an email. So then you can roast in your own environment and cup them your own way in water. So just please send me the email and I'll send them to you, gladly, so you can get to know these coffees.
Great, thank you, Isabella. Coming all this way, on the way.
Thank you for calling me.
Really nice.
Thank you for inviting me. It was a pleasure and an honor.
And the Nordic Roaster Forum is about to end. This was the last sessions we had, and we'd like to ask some of the speakers of today to come up. Christian is here. Enrique. And we've got a nice gift for all of you. Christian, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
So if we still have some things, so today we've been through Enrique's biodynamic farm, super interesting, angles on that, the grinding, roasting Brazilian coffee, airflow, things. So if you have anything that we need to debate at the minute, any questions, we're fine with that. Okay, otherwise we'll just say that tomorrow we have a meeting in the morning at 9 o'clock, which is the board meeting. So the Nordic Roaster is like democratic, as we try to be as democratic as possible. So we have an open meeting after every event where we try to discuss, you know, what could be better, what do we want to do next year, where do we want to go next year. And that's about the agenda for tomorrow. How can we maybe make some fundraising for some more research? What kind of research would we like to push, and with the contacts that we have. But we also know that it's a long way to come out here, maybe for just a couple of hours. Some of you have to leave. So if I could just do a short survey on how many would be planning to come tomorrow from 9 to 12, that would be really nice for us to know.
I'll be fine. I'll meet.
Would you? Yeah.
But I'll be fine.
Oh, you have to fly, okay. So I got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10-ish people, plus the organizing committee, so about 15, right? Okay, thank you very much. So, thanks very much so far. We have some way to go, and an interesting announcement tonight. About 8 o'clock, we will know who was the winner of the Nordic Roaster competition. Right. Okay, so I'll see you all at 7 at Tidkins. Yes?
Weren't there supposed to be some results from the whole iPhone copying yesterday?
Oh, we had that. Were you sleeping? Oh,
Yesterday afternoon,
they showed it on the...
when we had tech. I didn't sleep.
Okay.
That's okay.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks very much. See you later. 7 o'clock.
I can't help